The con artist has struck again, this time with a free agency signing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one coming out a little bit out of left field here, a little bit of a surprising move, bringing in former Tampa Bay Buccaneers cornerback Jamel Dean on a 3-year, $36.75 million contract. Dean has been known as one of the best and most reliable man-to-man corners in football, playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and their man-heavy defense for many years. He's a Super Bowl champion, and now he pairs up with Joey Porter Jr., another one of the best man-to-man corners in football, to create a legitimate cornerback tandem for new defensive coordinator Patrick Graham here in the Steel City. Now, before we get into the content here today, make sure you guys click that subscribe button, because it's stuff like this is why you subscribe to Steelers Talk. Every time the Steelers make a big move, we are going live. We're still live here on Steelers Talk. So after you watch this video, make sure you join us on the Steelers Talk live show, where we're talking about everything going on in the NFL, every move that the Steelers are making. Obviously, we put out a Michael Pittman Jr. video earlier today. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button, because the Steelers are making moves, and I'm excited about it, guys. Tom Pelissero had the news today. Says the Steelers have agreed with cornerback Jamel Dean on a 3-year, $36.75 million deal, sources tell me and Rap Sheet. And my initial reaction to this signing, guys, is that Dean is a very good man-to-man corner. It's what he's been known as there in Tampa Bay. And he actually has never had a PFF grade in his career, which is a pretty lengthy career, below a 70. So he's always grading out very, very well. He's very reliable, unlike some of the other guys that the Steelers have brought in free agency at this position in recent years. Patrick Peterson, obviously Darius Slay, really, really older guys that just, they lose it. And the Steelers get them way past their prime. But Jamel Dean, he's 29 years old, so he's not young, but he's a Super Bowl champion. He's still playing at a high level. He's coming off a season where he had the highest PFF grade of his career. And again, PFF grades are not gospel or anything like that, but Jamel Dean is still playing at a really, really high level, and you're getting him here at a pretty decent price point, $12.25 million per season. You pair him up with Joey Porter Jr., and this instantly becomes one of the best outside man-to-man cornerback duos in the entire National Football League. And I do expect Patrick Graham to run a very Belichickian style of defense. And if you know anything about Belichick's preferences as to how to run a defense, he likes to run man-to-man when you can. And, you have to have the horses. You got to have the athletes. You got to have the talent in the cornerback room to play a lot of man-to-man. And it seems like the Steelers are really making that a priority here with Patrick Graham coming in as this team's defensive coordinator. Now, I definitely have some questions surrounding this signing, because I thought you're bringing in Asante Samuel Jr. to be your one-year solution as a veteran option, and then you're going to draft a corner in the NFL draft, and eventually that rookie is going to be Joey Porter Jr.'s running mate in this secondary. But now, drafting a corner, at least an outside corner, seems like it's not a very high possibility at this point. And I have questions about how exactly are the Steelers planning on using Asante Samuel Jr.? Is he just going to be a backup? How are they going to use Jalen Ramsey? Is he still going to be the big nickel, or is he going to, stay at safety, where frankly he didn't play very well last year at safety? I got a lot of questions here, guys, but on the signing itself, on the face of it, Jamel Dean's a very good football player, and you're getting him at a pretty decent value, in my opinion. So let me know what you guys think about this signing down there in the comment section. What's your one-word reaction to this move? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section for today's pinned question. In just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at GLD. While I tell you about our sponsor today, let me know your one-word reaction to the Steelers signing Jamel Dean. Every guy's closet has some of those go-to pieces, right? Whether it's shoes that go with everything, the one pair of jeans that fit just right, the t-shirt that always looks clean no matter what you pair with it. You don't overthink those pieces. You just grab them and they work every single time. But most guys are missing one thing from that lineup: jewelry. That's where GLD comes in. They make the kind of pieces that become part of your routine, not just something you save for special occasions or just for once in a while. Just clean, quality pieces that instantly make your fit look more fresh. Once you add a GLD chain to your rotation, you will never go back. And this isn't the cheap stuff either, guys. GLD only uses real gold, and every stone is meticulously hand set, and their production process is on a completely different level. You can see and feel the difference. Here's actually my my GLD pendant that I got from them, guys, the Steelers pendant that I have. I wear this on Steelers game days for our watch parties and all that different stuff, guys. And they got a bunch of different pieces. So if you don't like the pendant, you guys can go with a little bit more minimal. They've got a bunch of different selections from watches to chains, the pendants, bracelets, even a nice selection of watches like I mentioned if that's your style. Whether you keep it simple or like a little shine, they've got you covered with whatever you need. And it's not just hype, guys. They have over 2 million customers and 50,000 5-star reviews, with GLD being worn by names like Justin Bieber, Malik Neighbors, Micah Parsons, A$AP Rocky, and plenty more. But the best part is that every single piece from GLD is guaranteed for life. If you want to look, feel, and be your best, or just want to level up any outfit, this is the missing piece that you've been sleeping on. Work hard and change the game with GLD today. For a limited time only, new customers are getting an insane deal. Use code CHAT to get 50% off at GLD.com. That's half off with code CHAT at GLD.com. After you purchase, they'll ask where I heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. And a big thank you to GLD for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk. Now, my one-word reaction to the Steelers signing Jamel Dean today is locked, because that's what wide receivers are going to be in man coverage, with Joey Porter Jr. and Jamel Dean manning each side of the Steelers defense this year. Now, like I mentioned, guys, this is going to be something where I have questions about what the plan exactly is for Asante Samuel Jr., Brandon Echols, and Jalen Ramsey. We'll talk about that here in a second. But at the end of the day, man, Jamel Dean has been a really good starting level corner in this league for a long time. I think that he instantly becomes one of the best CB2s in the league. And obviously, with the Steelers expected to get a long-term extension done with Joey Porter Jr. this offseason, this is going to become a pretty well-paid cornerback duo, and this is what the Steelers are going to be really relying on in the secondary for at least the next couple of seasons as Jamel Dean approaches his 30s. But last year, man, 9 PBUs, 3 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. He had a pick 6, so that's a really good sign there. Then previously he had good seasons. Like, he's a good cover corner, and I expect that to be something that's translatable for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I definitely like this signing compared to the Darius Slay signing last year and the Patrick Peterson signing a couple of years ago. But you guys can take a look at his coverage stats from last year. Just a 45.5% completion percentage when he was targeted. That is excellent. That is actually pretty close to Joey Porter Jr.'s number. He only allowed 1 touchdown. He had 3 interceptions and 9 PBUs, and you guys can see that quarterback rating there. It's definitely down there in the dumps. So the Steelers getting an awesome value for Jamel Dean, in my opinion. Getting him for that $12.25 million per season price tag, this is one of the better cornerbacks on the free agency market, and I think you got a really good value for him. And I think at the end of the day, Omar and Mike McCarthy saw that opportunity and seized it, even though they had Asante Samuel Jr. locked up earlier this morning. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. Grade this move to sign Jamel Dean down there in the comments section. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F down there in the comments. For me, right now, I'm going to give it a B+, because he is getting older, so there's a chance that over the span of this 3-year contract that he regresses and he's not quite as good as he was in Tampa Bay. There is a reason why Tampa is letting him go, for that matter. But at the end of the day, I like this signing a lot more than the Darius Slay and Patrick Peterson ones that we've seen in recent years. And I think that at least in terms of next year, heading into next season, you got Joey Porter Jr., Jamel Dean as one of the best man-to-man cover corner duos in the entire National Football League. Then we can take a look at the recap of what Omar Khan's been able to do today during the first day of NFL free agency. Obviously, you re-sign Asante Samuel Jr. early in the day, and I thought that was the solution at CB2, at least for this upcoming season. Then they were going to draft a corner, but they obviously don't have plans of doing that. I mean, I would say drafting a corner is probably off the table this year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe they take one on day 3 on a tradesy guy, but like Jamel Dean is locked up for the next 3 years. They're going to lock up Joey Porter Jr. for probably the next 5 later this offseason. And you're spending money, man. You really are. And then, of course, you bring back Cole Holcomb. We'll see what the team does at the linebacker position. The Steelers are spending money here. They gave a new extension to Michael Pittman Jr. after trading for him. They've paid Jamel Dean. It's very possible that we could see a move made in terms of a cut of either Patrick Queen or Malik Harrison in the hours to come if the Steelers want to continue to spend some money here in free agency. But the questions that I have, guys, surrounding the cornerback position in the secondary in general after this move is what is happening with Asante Samuel Jr. Because he theoretically, a lot of people have theorized that he could play slot corner in the NFL because he's undersized, he's not quite as big, but he's never really played on the outside in his NFL career. He's been an outside corner throughout his career as an off kind of cover corner, but if the Steelers are going to want to run a lot of man and like press man, like Asante is not really his skill set really isn't that. So I could see Asante make a move to the slot, and obviously that would mean Jalen Ramsey would have to stick at safety if he's going to remain here at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that would mean that the Steelers are not going to make a move at safety in free agency or in the draft because you got Ramsey and you've got Deshaun Elliott manning the rest of the defensive backfield. So it's going to be interesting to see here. Do they make a move at safety? What is their plan for Asante Samuel Jr.? What's their plan for the slot and the nickel position here? Those are some questions that I want to have answered here, but at the end of the day, Jamel Dean, good player, and I think it's at a pretty decent value. So at the end of the day, get good football players on your football team is the philosophy, and that's what Omar Khan did in this scenario. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Once we get answers in terms of what the plan is in the secondary for the Steelers is, we're going to get you guys answers for that here on the show for free. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And of course, if the Steelers make more moves throughout the course of the day, we'll have another breaking news video for you guys when and if that happens.